There were months of speculation about how things were going to play out for you in Minnesota. You get released on Friday. You're a free agent for the first time in your career. What's this experience like for you right now?
It's different, man. I got a lot of love for Minnesota. They brought a kid in that didn't know what to expect, and they embraced me. But I'm looking forward to this next step in my life, and it's gonna be fun. Whoever gets Dalvin Cook, they know what they're getting, and that's just plain and simple. Like, what you're getting out of me, and I'm gonna come be a great team player, great teammate, a great person in the locker room, and I'm just ready to go run a rock and help somebody win games.
So I got to imagine when a guy like Dalvin Cook gets released, you got to have every star quarterback, every player in the league sliding in your DMs, trying to get you to come. How many people? Who are you hearing from right now around the league?
Man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And I play Madden a lot, and I do free agency and in the Madden and my fantasy leagues and stuff. We bid on players and stuff like that. But kind of like going through this process of in real life, it kind of feel like a video game to me. It's like it's funny, man. It's exciting. It's the next step in my life, and I done had a lot of people reach out to me in these past weeks, in these past few months, just to reach out and see what I was thinking. But it's a lot of people reaching out.
You want to tell me who? You want to let me know where you're leaning right now, Dal?
Hey, we're going to keep them anonymous. On here.
All right. So let me ask you this then. So what are you looking for? Ultimately, at this point, you've had a lot of personal success. There's always the possibility to go win a Super Bowl someplace. Like, what are you looking for beyond the money, which we can certainly get into that too, but besides getting paid, what do you want? What does it have to be for this to be the right fit for you to come in and be somebody's running back right now?
I want the value. I want somebody that value Dalvin Cook. I want somebody that want me to be there and want to give me the ball. You know what I'm saying? I just want to go into the right situation so I can just go help somebody win. Like you said, the money don't come or whatever it comes with. You play good, they're going to pay you. That's what comes with it. But I just want to go somewhere that feel like it's home for me and go somewhere and help somebody win and just go be me. Just go turn and lose. I'm just looking for a home. That's it, man.
You might have seen Saquon Barkley's comments the other day about not just his situation being on the tag with the Giants, but also just the state of negotiations and the same stuff you're talking about, like the value that he brings to that team and why he sees you get paid at a certain level. You look around the league and, Josh Jacobs, there's nothing really happening on getting him signed. He's on the tag. Pollard's on the tag. Jonathan Taylor's going to get paid at some point. We just had Leonard Fournette on a little bit ago. When you look at just the state of the running back market and what's kind of happening to some of these guys, what's your reaction?
To me, honestly, it's kind of sad because, you just named a bunch of great football players, and it's the running back position. I think people overlooking this position, not thinking they are overlooking this position, and don't think, the game don't start and stop with the ball being on the ground. You control the ground. I think the game is controlled. So I think the running back position is at a point to we don't know. We don't know the certainty of a running back position. I think people think it's just, it is about the quarterback position, but, I think it starts and stops with the running back position. I think we got to get back to that, just playing good football, man. And I talked to a lot of those guys, man. It's a sad situation to where people just don't value the running back position. But, that don't stop us from going to play good football. And I think that's what it's all going to come down to, just keep playing good football. And I think the position will get back to where it needs to be at.
So when do you hope to be signed by? Do you need to be on a team at the start of camp? Are you good, kind of taking your time, so things play out in training camp? What's it going to take, and when would you ideally like to be on a team?
Just going to find a home time.
My shoulder's feeling great, so it's a waiting game right now at this point. Just trying to find that right situation. I don't think it's a rush for anything. As far as me picking up plays and going to play football, that's the easy part about the game. But I just think me feeling great, which I am, and I think me just being in the right shape and stuff like that, just going to play for a football team, I think that's going to be the best thing. But I'm not in a rush to go sign with nobody. I'm just trying to find the right fit for me and my family.
So last thing for you. I mean, your tape is going to say a lot about what type of player some team is getting. But like, if you're making the pitch to a GM about why you should pay Dalvin Cook right now and bring him in, give it to me, man. Lay it on me. I'm a GM. You're on the phone with me. Why am I their guy?
I think I'm all fixed up now. My shoulder's feeling great. And like you said, man, you know what you're getting out of Dalvin Cook. As soon as I step foot in the locker room or on the football field, I'm going to be the best teammate, be the best leader you can get. And I'm going to show that by my actions and, how I carry myself and the things I do on the field. Though you cut the tape on, that speaks for itself. But I think mostly what's important for me is, the off-the-field stuff, being the right figure in the community, just doing all the right stuff off the field. On the field, it's going to come. I just want to be the best teammate I could be. And, you know what you're going to get out of Dalvin Cook once I step in that locker room.
Doesn't look like Dalvin Cook's going to be a Miami Dolphin. But before we get into that, I want to go through this somewhat of a seminar on NFL running back evaluations, or rather valuations. Dan Orlovsky, Mina Kimes, and Shamu, Marcus Spears talk about the value of running backs in today's NFL. It's really enlightening. So let's take a look at this, and we'll react to it as we go along.
People are having a hard time. Like, the league seems to just be gravitating towards a different approach when it comes to running backs.
Well, I think the reality is,
been.
outside of quarterback, the league trends to, I want younger and cheaper no matter the position. 9 out of 10.
As most businesses would want. You want younger and cheaper employees. If you can get the same kind of performance, why not go with the younger, cheaper person?
Times.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we have to stop saying, well, the league doesn't value backs. That's incorrect.
Okay.
The league values backs at a different age more so than any other position. Mm-hmm. The best value for a running back is their first contract.
Yeah.
That is indisputable. Like, the best value for a tight end is usually when they get into their second and third contract. Mina just pointed out 8 of the top 12 rushers were rookies. The other 4 are 4 of the top 5 paid guys at the position.
Is that right?
So I'm going to show you something that's really interesting and dovetails off of what Dan Orlovsky just said. I'm going to show you the contract for Devon Achane. Obviously, 3rd-round draft pick number 84 in the draft, 21, 22-year-old kid just coming out of college. So let's take a look at his contract, and it's startling when you take a look at it in regards to what Dan just said. So here's his contract, and I hope you can see these numbers. So basically, with a rookie contract, they lock you up, as you know, from Tua for 4 or 5 years. They can take the 5th-year option if they want. But here's what his contract comes out to be. So let me see if I can blow this up even further for you so you can really see these numbers. Okay, so for year 1, $750,000. For year 2, $997,000. For year 3, $1.2. For year 4, 1.5, basically 1.5 million. For an overall, for 4 years, they've got this kid locked up for $4.4 million. For $4.4 million, Devon Achane is locked up on the roster at 21 years old, and he'll be in the exact same situation that Saquon Barkley and some of these other running backs are, trying to renegotiate a contract at 25 years old, depending upon how much tread is still left on the tire, and your value to the team is going to determine what they're going to pay you. So right now, they're looking at Dalvin Cook, and Dalvin Cook is saying, I'm not signing for measly $4 or $5 million. And he means $4 or $5 million is too much for 1 year. They've got Devon Achane at $5 million for basically 5 years. Think about that. You got a brand new running back that everybody's hot on, that everybody says is so great, and that could be a really good running back for the Miami Dolphins. And you've got him locked up for $5 million for basically 5 years with the option year. You're not paying Mostert that much money. You're not paying Jeff Williams that much money. So Dalvin Cook says, I want as much money as you're paying all your running backs right now. All your running backs combined, I want more money than what you have on your roster. So what do you think a good GM is going to have to do? They're going to have to measure, is getting Dalvin Cook that much more? Is it going to bring that much more value to this team than what we already have in place? Saquon Barkley, arguably one of the best running backs in the league, and he can't get signed with the New York Giants. Why? They blew all their money on Danny Jones. So Saquon Barkley's sitting back and going, I'm not even going to come to camp for $10 million. And that's what Dalvin Cook wants? I don't think that's going to happen. So let's continue with this.
So it's just that we have to define undervalued. And if we look at like the top 10 running back salaries, they're not that different than the top 10 tight end salaries. The best value for a back in their contract is when you take them first, those first 4 or 5 years, and it's just because their age more so than the position.
It's so true. I just showed you Devin A-Chain's contract, and he's not even going to make $5 million over the first 4 or 5 years. And so the Dolphins are going to get a lot of tread on the tire. They're going to get a lot of performance for him, assuming he can perform, and they're not going to have to pay anything for it. And then by the time he's 25 or 26 years old, then they get to go ahead and renegotiate. But who knows what's on the table when he's, 4 or 5 years from now.
I've said this before. I almost wish running backs weren't subject to the rookie wage scale because they're the position who are hurt the most by it, because teams are aware of what Dan just said, which is they're able to get similar production from players on these cost-controlled contracts, right? I mean, running backs' their production tends to peak when they're 26 years old, I believe. So by the time they actually have the chance to hit free agency, they're already past their peak. So
Dalvin Cook is 27. I think he's going to be 28 real soon if he's not 28 already. Devon A-Chain is 21 years. Actually, he's 22 right now. So he's got 6 years to prove himself with the Miami Dolphins at a contract that's not even going to cost him 1 year what Dalvin Cook is looking for.
you can't undo reality and you can't change the dynamics of when these backs are efficient. To me, it would have to be some sort of structural change to undo some of these trends in how they're paid.
Now, I'm totally against that. So what she's advocating for, at least she's mentioning, is to change the pay scale so that these guys can get front-loaded contracts so they're not sitting through the next 3, 4, 5 years waiting to get paid, which is completely insane in my estimation, because it puts the onus on the owners to have to pay for somebody who's not proven. Or, in like the case of Tua Tagovailoa, they would have to come up with $250 million for a player who is injured and hasn't shown yet that he can stay on and stay healthy for the balance of a season.
Yeah, and I think in the long run, like, it's individual positioning, right? Like, if your team is heavy use of what you do, your skill set outside of just handing the football off, and I don't think running backs are going to get paid, to your point, Dan, when you have a quarterback that is going to be making $200+ million. Teams are not going to value that. So I think it's particular situation. You almost got to hit it at the right time and be in the perfect situation to get paid.
Yeah, we talk often about players maybe were born in the wrong era, and it's like their skill set would have been highlighted more, or is highlighted more today than it would have been 20 years ago. For running backs, it's the opposite. I remember the Marshall Faulk days and Edgerrin James and guys who are going fourth overall and justified for much of their career. Perhaps running backs need to turn back the clock if they can find a way to do so.
But they're not. They're not going to find a way to do so because the owners are now savvy. So unless the union can go back in and renegotiate contracts specifically for running backs are stuck. I don't know what they're going to do, because right now I can lock you in on a rookie contract for 4 or 5 years and not have to pay you. And then when you're 27 and 28, I can just, hey, we're going to go with the youth movement here. You got guys like Saquon Barkley right now without a contract, Dalvin Cook without a contract, Zeke Elliott without a contract, and these were prime backs. And so from a matter of pure economics, forget performance, pure economics, I'm a GM or an owner and I'm sitting back and going, hey, I think I can get just about the same value for this guy that's going to be a fraction of the cost. So I want to show you something that Barry Jackson tweeted out 2 days ago, which is really interesting with what's happened today. So in this tweet, he says, Tom Pelissero reiterates what we've been reporting the past several days. Dalvin Cook wants a significant contract and is not looking at taking a $5 million one-year deal. He's not jumping at anything in that range. He's willing to wait a while. That's why mutual interest with the Finns and Cook isn't enough yet. He goes on to say, if no big offer materializes and Cook ultimately accepts team-friendly Dolphins deal in July or August, it would be fascinating to see what they do with Mostert or Wilson, who played well and that Mike McDaniel is fond of. Would be right to do right by them and deal one to a team where they could play. Yeah, but you're going to have to wait until almost July or August for that to happen. Dalvin Cook, speaking to Tom Pelissero, Marcel Louis-Jacques posted this, what he's looking for in his next team. I want value. I want somebody who wants Dalvin Cook. Adds that he wants to go to a team that's going to give him the ball often. One, he wants value. Means I want to get paid. I want to get paid what I'm worth. Number two, I want the ball. There's only one football on the field at any one period of time. So you got Dalvin Cook saying, wherever I go, I want the ball. You got Tyreek Hill saying, I want 2,000 yards this season. You got Jalen Waddle out there. You got a whole bunch of people who want a piece of the rock. And Dalvin Cook, who's not even on the team, is saying, if I come to Miami, you're going to pay me a lot. And you're going to give me the ball a lot. Is that something that Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier want to see happen right now? I have a question. Outside of the fanatical Miami Dolphins fan base on Twitter, how many other Dolphins fans want to see the apple cart upset and accommodate somebody like Dalvin Cook, who wants a ton of money, and now he's saying, in addition to everything else, I want the ball. I want the ball often. So now I want money and I want the ball. What do you guys think right now Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier should do with the prospect of bringing in a guy like Dalvin Cook, who wants a ton of money, when you've got Devon A-Chain, Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, all sitting there on the bench ready to go? Do you need to bring in Dalvin Cook as much as the fan base is frothing at the mouth for it? I don't think so. I think we're good with the guys who are on the team. You felt good going out there and getting Devon A-Chain when there were so many other opportunities available. So you spoke with your draft pick. And I think Dalvin Cook has simply priced himself out of the Miami Dolphins market. That could change tomorrow. It could change in a month. But I'm not going to keep following Dalvin Cook. This is going to be my last Dalvin Cook update until something actually happens. But other than that, dude, good luck. I hope somebody's willing to pay you big money and make you the star of their offense and give you the ball as much as you want. I just don't think it's Miami.
Is anybody catching on to this Barry guy?